Ready? Oh, I got a thumbs up too. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, and it's 3 p.m., and you are at a Plan Commission of the City of Wausau. Welcome, everybody. For the record, it looks like we have everyone here in person. First item on our agenda, we will approve the minutes from the March 15th, 2022 meeting. I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Neal and a second by Bolkin. Any discussion here? All of those in favor of approving the minutes from March 15th can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, next item, item number 2, public hearing. This is a request to rezone 915 North 6th Street from a 2-flat residential zoning district to a neighborhood mixed-use zoning district. Maybe I'll pass it over to Brad before we open up the public hearing.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah,
There it is. Thank you.
nice work.
All right, so the parcel is shown up here on the screen. It's 915 North 6th Street, and it is along the railroad tracks. And the proposal is to rezone it to NMU to match the parcel immediately adjacent to the south. And the purpose is that the petitioners would like to combine those parcels into one parcel. They're going to connect the buildings. In order to do that, they need to combine the parcels. In order to do that, they need the same zoning. So that's the motive behind the petition, I guess. From staff's perspective, you know, it is neighborhood mixed use is compatible with residential districts. It's a mixed use district, so it is compatible with commercial as well. There is a different mixed use district to the west, urban mixed use. This one would be sort of a step down zoning from the urban mixed use to the west and the 2-flat 10, which is a residential district, to the east. So I guess from that perspective, it seems to fit. So I guess that's about all I have.
All right, I guess with that information, I will open the public hearing. If there's anybody here who would like to speak to us in favor or against or whatever, you're welcome to the podium if you give your name and address, and you'll get 3 minutes.
Dan Higginbotham, Plover River Land Company, 2625 Northwestern Avenue, Wausau. Brad did a very nice job. I don't have anything to add, just I'm here if there's any questions that anyone may have.
Okay, thank you. If there's anybody here who'd like to talk to us about this rezone request for 915 North 6th Street, it's the second time I'm calling for anyone. Welcome to the podium. All right, last time, if anybody's here who'd like to talk about the rezone request for 915 North 6th Street from a 2-flat residential to a neighborhood mixed use, you're welcome to the podium. All right, I am not seeing anybody approach the podium, so I'm going to consider this public hearing closed. Thank you. We're now moving on to item number 3, discussion and possible action to approve the rezone request at 915 North 6th Street from a 2-flat residential zoning district to a neighborhood mixed-use zoning district. I have a motion by Neal and a second by Borneman. Any discussion or questions? Mr. Peckham.
Just wondered if it was going to stay residential or commercial or a blend, or what the plan is. I don't know if that has any bearing on our approval, but I'm just curious.
Okay. I don't know if Brad wants to answer. I did
Yeah,
see a hand in the audience.
It is going to, at least in the short term, stay the way it is now. 915 is used as a residence, and it, as well as some storage for his business, which is located off-site. But yeah, that use will stay the same, I believe. Well, that's the one that's in question, I guess. The other one was used as a commercial business before, and I don't know that they addressed that parcel, the 911. I don't know, Dan, do you know if that's staying the same, or?
Help us.
I believe they said it would be staying the same.
From my understanding, and I have never talked to the owner, I just talked to the architect. The architect is planning on, or has been talking to Randy about combining the buildings and using it more as a residential facility, kind of a guest house, if you will, but they would like them to combine so they don't have to walk outside in the inclement weather when he has visitors.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, I think we are ready to vote on this. So all of those in favor of approving the rezone request at 915 North 6th Street from a two-flat residential zoning district to a neighborhood mixed-use residential, or neighborhood mixed-use zoning district can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. All right, next up, item number 4. It's a public hearing for the request to rezone 180 East Wausau Avenue from a heavy industrial zoning district to an urban mixed-use zoning district. There's a request from the city of Wausau. Maybe I'll have Brad give us a little down low on this.
Sure, thanks. Well, this parcel is owned by the city. You can see it up on the screen here. It is directly north of Thrive, the restaurant, and just a block west of Athletic Park, block east of the riverfront, right on Wausau Avenue. The city came into ownership of this through a deal with Wausau Chemical a few years ago. It was one of their kind of satellite properties. It's not their main one, but they did own this property. The city came into ownership of it and, used it as a couple different things, temporary uses the last couple of years, but I guess now we're looking for more of a permanent home or a permanent use there. So we are planning to put the property out to RFP and see what interest there might be out there for redeveloping this property. It is zoned heavy industrial right now. That's sort of the leftover zoning. It's historic zoning district, and when we put it out to RFP, we're not necessarily looking for heavy industrial. We're looking more for commercial uses that fit in better with how that area has been redeveloping over the years, in more of a commercial kind of riverfront area. So we're looking to change the zoning to be more in line with the RFP that we will be putting out there.
Thank you. I guess with that, we will go ahead and open up the public hearing. If there is anybody that would like to discuss the rezone request for 180 East Wausau Avenue, you're welcome to the podium and give us 3 minutes of our, okay. If there is anybody for the second time that would like to discuss the rezone request at 180 East Wausau Avenue from heavy industrial to urban mixed use, you are welcome to let us know what you think. All right. One last time, if there's anybody here that would like to discuss the rezone of 180 East Wausau Avenue, you're welcome to the podium. All right, I'm going to consider this public hearing closed, and we will move on to item number 5, discussion and possible action to approve the rezone request at 180 East Wausau Avenue from heavy industrial zoning district to urban mixed-use zoning district. I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Bolkin and a second by Peckham. Any questions or discussion from the, yes, Mr. Peckham?
Yeah. To what extent have we explored the environmental contamination on the property? And to what extent is that information included in the RFP or reference made to it so potential purchaser goes in with eyes wide open?
Sure. Well, that was a question that was brought up at the Economic Development Committee. I think we're going to address that in the RFP. I don't have the RFP. I see Randy's coming up to maybe address the
Tag team this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question and something that came up previously. We wanted to make sure that we at staff level did our due diligence in getting this prepared, so whatever developer comes in and picks on it, that we don't have any delays in the process. So as part of the RFP that was listed out, we do have the phase 1 environmental analysis linked up for anybody that wants to see it can review it. From going through that process, we don't see any environmental issues on this site. I guess there's some with the other site, but not with this 180 East Wausau. But all that information, if you go to the Wausau Development website and go under RFPs, you'll see all that information.
Thank you. More comments or questions from anyone? I'm not seeing anybody. All right, so we do have a motion and a second on the table. So all of those in favor of the rezone request for 180 East Wausau Avenue from a heavy industrial zoning district to an urban mixed-use zoning district can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. All right, next up, item number 6, discussion and possible action on request to approve a conditional use at 110 South First Avenue and 110 Alexander Street to allow for offices, chapel, community center with a kitchen and separate living accommodations for up to 36 men or women and up to 6 families in an urban mixed-use zoning district. This is a request from the Salvation Army. Do you want to start us off, Brad? And I see we have our friends from the Salvation Army here in case we have questions.
Sure, thank you. Well, last month, we held the public hearing for this conditional use process, so this month, we would be looking for final action on it. And I guess the action to take is to either approve it, to deny it, or to approve it with conditions. Those are our 3 options. In this case, what's needed for the conditional use is the residential component, the homeless shelter. The other uses as part of their proposal are already permitted in the zoning district, so just the homeless shelter is what's needing the conditional use approval. And I guess, from that perspective, we didn't see any reason. They're already operating in this area right behind this property. And we're not approving necessarily their plans. They did submit some preliminary plans before. Those are just concepts at this point. We will review those at the staff level to make sure they abide by our ordinances in terms of setbacks, landscaping, and other standards that we have in our zoning code. So we'll be checking those later. This would just be for the use as a homeless shelter as they presented.
Okay. With that, is there anybody who'd like to offer a motion?
I would move to approve.
All right, I have a motion to approve the request and a second by Borneman. Any discussion from the committee here? Any questions? Comments? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody with any questions. Looks like we talked about this one the last meeting. So all of those in favor of the request to approve a conditional use at 110 South First Avenue and 110 Alexander Street to allow for offices, chapel, community center with a kitchen, separate living accommodations for up to 36 men or women, and up to 6 families in an urban mixed-use zoning district can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, we are moving on to item number 7, discussion and possible action on vacating and discontinuing excess public right-of-way located on the east side of 17th Avenue, abutting west property line of 1607 Cella Street, the south property line of 1427 Lake Street, and a portion of the south property line of 1425 Lake Street. Would you like to take that one? Or,
Sure.
here, I can take it.
So this is a section of right-of-way, as you can see on the map, to the west of 2 properties, 1601 and 1607 Cella Street, and just to the south of 1427 Lake Street. Developer would like to have access to those 2 properties, 1601 and 1607. And they would also like a little bit of additional land there, which is about an additional 50 feet that so they can propose to develop that area, but also have access off of Lake Street to that development. It's my understanding that development is proposed to be townhomes.
Okay, so, if there's anybody that maybe has a motion they'd like to offer, or maybe some questions before we get to the motion, I would entertain that. Mr. Peckham?
Where would they drive in?
They drive in off of Lake Street across 1427 to the south. Yep.
So 1427 wouldn't be developed except for a roadway, and then they would access 1607 and 1601.
Correct, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yep. So they already own the 1427 parcel, and they have an agreement for the purchase of the other 2 contingent on the vacate of this right-of-way.
I would move to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve the vacating and discontinuing and some other things that I'll read off once, and we have a second by Alder Neal. Any discussion or questions further? Okay, so all of those in favor of vacating and discontinuing the excess public right-of-way located on the east side of 17th Avenue, abutting the west property line of 1607 Cella Street, the south property line of 1427 Lake Street, and a portion of the south property line of 1425 Lake Street can signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? All right, that passes unanimously as well. Thank you. We are now on to item number 8, discussion and possible action on accepting a dedication of the right-of-way map for Timber Trail Drive.
Sure.
Wanna-
I can take this
Thank
one,
you.
I suppose. This one is out in the Fountain Hills subdivision. It's on the far northwest corner of what's been developed so far. There is interest on creating a new lot, but I guess the city requested that right-of-way be dedicated on the east side to give access to the property for one, but also to potentially extend the road to the north into that undeveloped area when that is eventually developed in the future. So any right-of-way dedication does need to come through SISM and pass through here at Plan Commission. So that's what this is. And we're in favor of it.
Any questions or possibly a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion from Bulkin to accept the dedication of the right-of-way. Do I have a second? I have a second by Neil. Any discussion?
I think just one clarification that the location on the map where it shows it kind of up to the north there is incorrect. The location is actually, it's Aspen Grove Lane, that east-west parcel or road that's further to the south. It's right around just north of that intersection, north of the cul-de-sac in that intersection. So just the map is incorrect, so apologize for that.
Any comments or questions? All right, otherwise, all of those in favor of accepting the dedication of right-of-way map for Timber Trail Drive can signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We are now into item number 9, our next meeting date of May 17th. And I know technically this isn't on our agenda, but I would just like to thank Alders Peckham and Neal for their service to our community on both City Council and our Plan Commission. And we wish you well in your retirement if you'd like to be appointed as a citizen. I would welcome you to apply, but thank you so much for your service. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Neal and a second by Peckham. All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye.
Ceremonial out. Yeah.
Thank you. Peckham out. Mic drop. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.